Okay, time for the K tag. We have a kangaroo with a kite, Cobber, the Dread. Cobber was the nickname of Joseph Stalin when he was growing up. Kingsolver, Barbara Kingsolver. Of course we have Kafka, Stephen King, Jeff Kinney. K is for Kirk and Klein, and King, the girl King.
Hello, my name is Tim. Welcome to my booktube channel about books and reading and stuff. This video, like those before it, will be an alphabetic tag. This is the K tag. Here we have a kangaroo flying a kite. Talking of kites, have you read The Kite Runner by Khaled Hosseini? The Kite Runner is the story of Amir, who's from Kabul in Afghanistan. As a young boy, he has a friend Hassan, who's the son of one of the servants in Amir's household, and they're playing together, flying kites, things like this. But one day Hassan gets brutally assaulted, and Amir does nothing to protect his friend from this. The rest of the book is Amir's coming of age story, his feelings of guilt, and his seeking out a redemption for what he didn't do at the time. And he goes back to Afghanistan after emigrating many years later to try to save Hassan's son from his fate in war-torn Afghanistan. It's a very moving book. It's one of my favourite books of all time. Have you read The Kite Runner? What did you think of The Kite Runner? K is for Kafka. Dr. Franz Kafka. K is also for some of his characters, like K in The Trial and Joseph K in The Castle. Kafka is a fascinating writer. K is also for kleptomania, and I'm going to steal a question from Mark Nash's video. I'll link to his video in the show notes below. Mark Nash asks, how has a writer who has never finished a novel so permeated our culture as to have an adjective named after him? Interesting question. I just had my first vaccine, and applying for the vaccine seemed to me a little Kafkaesque, although this adjective may be used a little too often, rather like Orwellian as well, is used too often these days for a wide variety of situations. When I was looking to register for the vaccine, first the website had gone down. It was reportedly a cyber attack, but whether that's true or not, or whether the website just couldn't cope with the numbers of people applying, I don't know. I finally got onto the website, and there was a choice of 4 vaccines, but first I chose Pfizer, but nothing came up for Pfizer. Then I chose AstraZeneca, but all for AstraZeneca was the second vaccine, and I hadn't had the first vaccine. So finally I got down to Sinopharm, on the Chinese vaccines, and I applied for that, and I was given an appointment at the Hualing Sea Centre, which is on the outskirts of Tbilisi. It's a strange complex created by the Chinese themselves. Going to my appointment, the taxi driver didn't know where the medical centre was, so we had to ask a few people on the way, and when we got there, there was no sign over the medical centre, but it was apparent that this was the medical centre, and I did get the first vaccine. I hope the second vaccine won't be such a difficult task. I saw Pi comment on one of my comments on a Codex Cantina video about a hunger artist, that should I make the K tag, I should make it all about Kafka and he'd be all over it. Well, it's not going to be all about Kafka. I like to have some variety with these tags, but I can give you a second Kafka prompt. Which of Kafka's 3 unfinished novels is your favourite? The first was America, then there was The Trial, and then there was The Castle. Of these, my favourite is The Castle. He was a Jew, a German-speaking Jew in Prague in the Austro-Hungarian Empire. So in a sense he was a minority within a minority within a minority, which sounds quite Kafkaesque. And he worked in an insurance company. He was never a professional writer, which is why his novels were never finished, because there's never an editor screaming for him to send in his final manuscript. He kept altering the manuscripts. The Trial is probably his most famous, about a man who finds he's on trial but he doesn't know what he's on trial for, and he can't find out any information. But it's very unrelenting in its negativity. I prefer the Castle, because in the Castle it's a different rhythm. You get hope and then you get despair and then you get hope again and despair again. It's a more interesting rhythm. I like also the idea that you have telephones ringing in the castle and no one knowing who's supposed to answer them. The Castle is my favourite. K is for King, Stephen King. I can't believe I can't find a Stephen King novel in this household. I've had many in the past. I've even read more pages by Stephen King than any other author. I've read maybe 5,000 pages of Stephen King. He's a very prolific author and he wrote some very mammoth books like It. What is your favourite Stephen King novel? I think for me it would be The Shining. I haven't seen the film, but I like the oppressive nature of The Shining and the character of Jack Torrance as he slowly goes insane in this resort in Denver where they're trapped in the winter by the snows, and he's supposed to be the janitor, but it's his descent into madness. K is for Kennedy. Have you done the JFK tag created by Very Literary Kari yet? Very Literary Kari, I'll tag her also on this tag because Kari begins with a K. So.
Here we have the USS Enterprise, a very small model of the US Enterprise. K is for Kirk, James T. Kirk. Who is your favourite character from Star Trek?
I haven't seen all the different series of Star Trek. I saw a lot of the first TV series growing up as a child. My compulsory viewing as a child was Star Trek, Doctor Who and Rent a Ghost. I grew up with just 3 TV channels, BBC One, BBC Two and ITV, so there wasn't a lot of choice, but those were the TV series I enjoyed watching. I also liked the Hanna-Barbera cartoons like Scooby-Doo and Yogi Bear. My favourite Star Trek character, Live Long and Prosper, was Spock from the original TV series. I liked his logical Vulcan ways, although he wasn't always logical. He got quite emotional at one time when he thought he'd killed his captain, Jim Kirk, and Vin over at Revenant Reads has started the Book Trek 2021 Readathon, which will be focusing on all things connected to Star Trek books and films, TV series, etc. And he's joined on his quest to boldly go where no booktuber has gone before, by the intrepid Steve Donoghue, Gene Stanier, Michael K. Vaughan and Mark Richardson. Lots of countries begin with K. Here, just southwest of Hawaii, we have Kiribati, just below the equator. But I think only Steve Donoghue and Roz from Scallyganding about the books would have read anything from Kiribati. We have Kazakhstan, Kuwait, which caused the invasion of Kuwait, started the Gulf War. Kyrgyzstan, I had a friend working in Bishkek for a while. Kenya, Kosovo, if you count it as a country. Some would say it's still part of Serbia. It's a bit like Abkhazia here in Georgia. And Korea. To my shame, I haven't read any books from Korea. My sole sampling of Korean culture, I was watching Parasite, which was a great film, and I thought it deservedly won the Oscar for Best Picture. The first foreign language film to do that. Parasite is a satirical comedy thriller about poverty and about the contrast between rich and poor in Seoul in Korea. Can you recommend any writers or any books from Korea or about Korea, either South or North Korea?
K is for Kindle. What are you currently reading on Kindle? I don't have an actual Kindle, I just have the Kindle app on my phone here. And what I'm actually reading is Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. There's a big build-up on my Kindle TBR here. There's Irreparable Harm by Melissa Miller, The Contract Lawyer, John Ellsworth, The Castle School for Troubled Girls, The King of Warsaw, The Broken Bones, We the Drowned by Kirsten Jensen, Wild Seed by Octavia Butler, Fairy Tale. This was a manga recommended by James Holder.
K is for Killer. Kevin Kachadorian begins with K, lots of Ks. And the book We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver takes us in the mind of Kevin. It starts as an epistolary novel. His mother is writing letters to his father about Kevin, and Kevin's a strange boy. Even as a baby, he doesn't take to breast. He refuses to be toilet trained. He's a very odd boy. His mother's an unreliable narrator. She's quite indifferent towards Kevin. She didn't want to be a mother. And towards his father, Kevin plays the all-American boy, but it's not real. And Kevin ends up shooting his schoolmates, Columbine style. And finally, who do I tag? Well, of course it's K, so I'll tag Kit at Kit's World. Kit has a wonderful channel, you should check it out. I'll also tag Christina at Knitting Books, etc. The lovely Katrina at Katrina Reads. Kevy at Say Kevy, and Very Literary Kari. So that was my K tag. If you like this tag, you can like and subscribe below, and I will see you on the next video. There could be a short break before L&M because I'm going away for 2 weeks, away from the internet, to relax and to recharge. But the L tag should come out sometime in mid-August, and then I will continue.